Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boscheman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the numerology and the energy for February 2022. Before I get into the reading, this is, of course, a general reading. If you would like a personalized reading, please book some time with me. My information is in the description box below. So as always, I'm going to take a deep dive into the numerology for the collective for the month of February. I highly recommend not skipping this part. This is why I don't put timestamps in these videos, because the numerology part of this reading is the bread and butter. This is what's sort of driving the energy. So please listen to this part. You're more than welcome to fast forward if you choose to, but just so you know, this is important. Okay. Then I will dive into the energy of each individual life path number. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so February is an 8 universal cycle. What's really interesting about this, so 8 energy is sort of governs the material plane. So think money, resources, power dynamics. Why this is so interesting that this is occurring, that this 8 cycle is occurring in February 2022 is because in astrology, we have the Pluto return for the United States going exact, I believe, on February 22nd, 2022. So that's 2222022. So that's a lot of twos, a lot of balance energy. So with this Pluto return for the US, no matter where you are in the world, what sort of happens in the US does have some sort of effect on the rest of the world. That's just sort of the way it is. And so this Pluto return is incredibly significant. And it only happens, I think, your Pluto return, I think, only happens once like every 248 years or something like that. It's we humans never see their Pluto return, but like companies, estates, countries will see a Pluto return, and it can be significant. And so I would highly, highly suggest, if you haven't already done so, find an astrologer and that you like, that you resonate with, and watch their videos on the upcoming Pluto return for the US, because you are going to feel the effects of that in some way, shape, or form. Okay, so that's why this is just kind of mind-blowing that we have this 8 universal cycle that's centered around money, resources, power dynamics, and then we have this Pluto return coming in February for the United States. And again, Pluto is all about death, transformation, rebirth. This could be the start of a major overhaul when it comes to money, resources, control, transfer of power, and so on, to sort of function more effectively. So this, of course, will take many, many years. This isn't something that happens on the day or that happens immediately, but it's the start of a transformation. It's the start of a death and a rebirth, a start of a major overhaul and rebalancing. And so I think that we're going to see that play out on the global scale. And we can start to see things changing and the dynamics changing because of that. Because anytime Pluto is involved, shit is about to get real. That's just, it's for our highest good, but it gets intense. It gets intense pretty fast, and things that aren't working will basically be plowed over, and then it's time to transform and have that rebirth. So it's an intense energy, and that will be with us for a while as far as Pluto is concerned. With the 8 energy, we have this cycle in February. And so this brings it into the individual dynamic, right? So we will feel this not only collectively, but individually. Whereas the Pluto will be more collective, the Pluto energy for the Pluto return for the US. Okay, so for February, for the collective and for the individual, again, February is an 8 universal cycle, and we can see the emphasis really going to be placed strongly on the physical plane. So especially when it comes to money matters and how we make money, how we circulate money, our relationship with money, and so on. The same with resources. If we have lessons to learn around 8 energy, we could see challenges or transformations come in around finances, distribution of wealth, resources, how we handle those resources. Remember, we are in a 6 universal year. So the emphasis throughout the year will be on the greater community and how the individual actions affect the whole. So this month, in February, is an opportunity to sort of take a deeper, more serious look at how we are using resources, how they're being distributed and circulated, starting with ourselves, within our own homes. So this is ultimately about finding a healthy balance where we aren't falling into some toxic level of an extreme. Sort of living in excess has its own consequences, good and bad, just like living in deprivation does. So where is your healthy balance between the two, and how can you contribute to the redistribution of wealth and resources to keep that energy flowing? That's going to be a question we need to be asking ourselves. This will all be emphasized on the global stage, as I mentioned, as well as individually. That's really important to keep in mind. So we are individually going to feel the effects of this 8 universal cycle in some way, shape, or form. So really use this cycle to evaluate your finances, your resources, and determine whether you are feeling centered and in a healthy place with this energy, or whether you have fallen into an extreme, right? So in an extreme, work with the energy of this 8 cycle to begin to find ways to get back into a state of equilibrium when it comes to your own personal finances, resources, and relationships with those energies. That's going to be really, really important. And I think you'll see it highlighted where it is that there needs some work or some redistribution, or some where there needs to be, again, just sort of like your attention, your awareness. This 8 cycle is also emphasizing personal power and inner strength. So where we're going to be, again, seeing on the global stage that power dynamics and redistribution of power and all of that, on the personal side of things, it's going to be emphasizing personal power and inner strength. So if there are any areas within your life where you are giving your power away, or where you are easily influenced by an external source, someone telling you what you should do and you doing that, you may be faced with some pretty powerful truths and challenges to help to assist you in reclaiming that power and becoming much more decisive and autonomous when it comes to your own life and the choices that you make for yourself. Nobody else on this planet is responsible for our life. So if there are any aspects of our journey where someone is trying to dictate or do something for us, something that we're fully capable of doing for ourselves, then this 8 energy will be pushing us to take on the responsibility of the direction of our own life. So I hear people say sometimes, I did this because so-and-so told me to, and it didn't work out, so it's their fault and I'm mad now, or I'm upset, or we're not friends any longer because I took it personally, or whatever. That scenario is an example of giving your power away and then blaming someone else for the consequences of your own actions. We have the final say when it comes to our decisions and our choices, whether we were influenced by another to make those choices or if we made them through our own decisiveness. Either way, if those choices work out or they don't, it's our responsibility to take ownership of the result, to be empowered to either celebrate the success or take responsibility for what didn't work out and clean up our own mess. So 8 energy isn't about passing the buck and passing the blame. It's about taking ownership and responsibility of one's own circumstances, picking ourselves up when we fall, and then finding ways to not keep making the same missteps so we don't keep falling in the same direction. And so this 8 energy is going to help to sort of emphasize where it may be within our life that we're doing that and where we can clean that up a little bit and start taking that responsibility. So if there are any areas within your life where you have knowingly or even unknowingly been giving your power away, this 8 cycle will sort of shed light on that area and make it very difficult to ignore until you make the decision and commit to stepping back into your own magnificence and your own power. This 8 energy is all about self-empowerment, not martyrdom. There's a difference. Remember, we can't do it for someone else without taking their power away. That's martyrdom. Support, yes, we can support other people, but we can't try to do it for them. Because again, it's in the doing for the person and not believing that they have the capability of doing it that we're actually taking their power away. We are detracting from them, right? From their own essence. Supporting someone to assist them and sort of showing them or reminding them of their power and allowing them or teaching them to do it for themselves is so much more powerful, right? That is empowerment. So I believe we will see power struggles play out on the global stage under this energy, but it also serves a bigger purpose to sort of eventually bring the power back to the people. So remember, this cycle will help to highlight where the imbalances of power lie so that the equilibrium can eventually be reached. And as always, it's what we choose to do with this energy and how we choose to participate with it that ultimately makes the difference in how the energy works for us. So this is going to be an interesting month. This is, like I said, with this Pluto dynamic happening for the US and hence globally. And then we've got this 8 energy coming in. This could be a very intense month. This can be a month of transformation when it comes to, again, money, power, resources, or it can be a month where you start to see the sort of start reaping the rewards for some of the efforts that you've put in. Maybe you see an influx of money coming in, resources. Maybe you feel like you're stepping into your power. This can be like you stepping on the other side of that transformation. Maybe you've already been doing this work, and so you're fully stepping into it and sort of reaping the rewards of taking the reins back within your own life. So you can certainly see that show up as well. But for others, if you're struggling with, again, giving your power away or struggling with falling into the extremes of something within the physical realm, then this month might be a little bit more about the transformations and the challenges to help you to overcome those situations and to, again, regain what is rightfully yours, your power, your resources, and to circulate those resources and that money. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the life path number. Life path 22 fours. So I pulled an animal spirit card for you all, and you got Canary Spirit. And Canary's message to you all is sing your own song. So I feel like throughout this month, you're going to have some opportunities to put your own creative stamp on something. That could be as simple as you're redecorating your house or painting your house or whatever, and you sort of get the final say of, what paint to use or what furniture you want to buy or whatever. It's just kind of like making a statement through your own creative self-expression, however that might be. This could also be, there's something maybe at work where you have the opportunity to do some kind of creative project and you're the leader of that creative project. And so this creative self-expression carries your name type thing. So, be very proud about whatever this is because it carries a piece of you with it energetically, right? And as well as physically. So just make sure that you're not holding anything back, that you're putting yourself out there and sharing with the world that creative flair that you have in there. It's really something quite beautiful. So I just feel like Canary is just saying, don't keep yourself stuck in a mold when you're really kind of meant to break the mold as a 22. Whatever it is that you create is going to be different. It's going to be something that's, unique to you, and don't worry about the judgments or the self-doubt or whatever creeps in to try to keep you small. This is an opportunity for you to shine. So shine. All right. So as I look at the month ahead for you all, very beginning of the month, we have something coming in very strongly around resources, money, inheritance, big sums of money. So I don't know if there's something here around like maybe again like an inheritance or something like that, or if it's some kind of windfall to do with money or a big investment that you might be thinking about making. buying a house, selling a house, actually making an actual investment through like stocks or whatever. I would say that it's very supported, whatever this is. The energy looks very supportive for you to do this and to embark on this journey and to take a risk if there's a risk involved. It looks like you're going to be very supported with it, and then it could be very financially satisfying. I would also say that there's something here around, again, sort of philanthropy and how you redistribute that money or how you circulate that money or those resources and how you share that money or those resources. Because it's kind of like with anything, with great power comes greater responsibility. With great wealth comes the sort of ethical need to redistribute that wealth to keep the engine moving, you know what I mean? To keep the energy circulating so that it doesn't get stagnant. We don't ever want to be in a situation where we're just hoarding resources and hoarding goods because they're ours, you know what I mean? Like, because this is a collective dance and we all sort of benefit from that circulation. And so there may be something here to look at about how you can get involved with philanthropy if you're able to do so, how you can maybe volunteer your time or energy or resources to help build something bigger. And that can be energetically, right? It doesn't have to be like physical. So however that comes in for you, but there's something here around, definitely around finances, definitely around like an extended family type thing. And so again, it may be that you're in a position to help someone close to you. And this is a great opportunity to do that. So without the need for reciprocation, you know what I'm saying? So you're kind of like doing it out of the goodness of your heart because you can and because you want to, right? It's got to come from that generous spirit, not because you feel like it's the right thing to do, but you don't really feel like doing it. You know what I mean? So definitely something coming in here around resources, money, legacy, building a legacy, big windfalls, circulating money, that sort of thing. Redistribution of money, redistribution of wealth. Also something coming in here around like tradition and maybe doing things a little bit differently or creating your own tradition, like switching things up. Because we talked about like in the intro about the Pluto return for the United States and how that's really about like dismantling things that aren't working and redistribution of power and wealth and all that stuff and coming to some kind of balance. There may be something within your life that is very overly done. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like it's tradition. We do it all the time, but nobody wants to do it type thing. This would be a time when you can shake that up a little bit and create your own tradition that makes more sense for this day and age. And that's where I would say Canary Spirit would be coming in very, very strongly to sing your own song, put your own creative flair on whatever this is and creating your own tradition. So middle of the month, this is interesting. There's definitely a power struggle here coming in. I don't know if this is your energy or somebody coming into your environment and creating this power struggle, but there's some kind of dynamic here that feels like a push-pull. It feels like a misunderstanding. It feels like somebody's trying to have power and control over a situation and not taking into account the needs or desires or experience or perspectives of others. And it's just creating a really like, it's just creating a conflict, right? Like just more of an aggressive kind of energy. So I would say just pay attention to that. If this is somebody that's coming into your space and creating this energy or this frequency, then I would say walk away from it. Don't entertain it. Don't get involved. Don't participate. You know, if it's like a boss or something like that, you have every right to say that you respect their opinion, you respect what they're bringing to the table, but that you are not okay with this sort of abuse of power or however you want to phrase it, right? But there's definitely a power struggle here going on, and which totally makes sense because we're in this 8 universal cycle. So this may be a call for you to sort of stand in your power and say what you need to say so that you're not getting sort of dragged into this power struggle, because you don't need to be there. It's not going to serve a purpose other than like egos getting inflated and then egos clashing and then egos deflating. And so you don't really need to be a part of all that drama if you don't want to be. So there's something here about you sort of standing in your power, standing in your autonomy, and being like, you know what, I don't want to be a part of this. So come see me when it blows over or when you all work it out. So not sure what that is. If it's you creating the drama, then there's going to be a big call here for you to sort of wake up to how you're showing up to the situation. And that might be a little uncomfortable to have to face. But again, this 8 energy of the universal cycle in February is sort of highlighting for us where it is that we maybe need to make some adjustments in how we show up and how we interact with people and how we sort of exert or enforce our own sort of power. You know what I'm saying? So you don't ever want to take somebody else's power away or attempt to. So if that's you doing that, then I feel like there's going to be some challenges or something that comes in that's going to make you face that and clean it up. So just be aware of that. But if it's somebody else, just know that you don't have to participate in that, and you have every right to stand in your own power and be like, no, thank you, next. So regardless of what the situation is, right? I want to make that very, very clear. Regardless of what the dynamic is, you always have the right to stand up for yourself and to stand in your own power and not give that power away. End of the month, this is some interesting energy here. This just shows sort of like you being very connected holistically. So body, mind, spirit. There's a lot coming in around like the cosmos for you, like this divine connection. You might see a lot of inspiration coming in. You might feel like you're getting some momentum. You might feel like you're moving forward. You're able to, again, get some momentum that maybe you haven't had in a while, and that can feel really, really good. So just make sure that, again, that you're staying true to yourself, that you are making sure that your creative voice is being heard. And that can also be in relationships as well. You want to make sure that there's balance, that there's equilibrium, that you are not being taken advantage of, or that you're not taking advantage of another. But this is an energy of like all systems go, the connection between the ethereal and the physical plane, and maintaining that connection and using that inspiration to build something in the tangible. But it just feels like all systems go here, which is really, really beautiful energy. It's sort of a faster moving energy. You just have to say yes to it. But again, I would say just make sure that whatever direction you move into, that you are staying true to yourself and that it's the direction that you want to be moving into. Because I feel like things could be picking up pretty quickly for you at the end of the month. And if you're not vigilant about the direction that you're moving into, you may find yourself, 2 years down the road and wondering why you're where you're at. So just be vigilant about the directions and the choices that you make, the choices that you make in the directions that you move into. And just make sure they're ones that feel right for you, that feel aligned for you, that feel like you're doing it because it's speaking to you, it's calling to you, it's igniting your passion, whatever, and it's not strictly out of obligation. I think that's going to be really, really important to you as you continue to build upon the legacy that you're building as a 22-4. So I hope this was helpful. Thank you all so much for listening. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.